A potter fires at dawn. Good, up with the draft. Then the knock, an inspector at the door. Neighbours filed a nuisance complaint. The fire insurance man wants the stack higher. Heave-ho, move the kiln or shut it down. We retrace that day. Clay from Bodkin's Point, salt in the chamber, cobalt on the ware, then the city's hand on the valve. Follow the line from crowded old town to the edges of Baltimore, where regulation and real estate forced every hard choice. No electricity, no shortcuts, just clay, salt, wood. One quiet dawn, firing sets neighbours against the shop, and the echo carries. We load before sunup. Clay from Bodkin's Point, thrown stiff, trimmed lean. Cobalt brushed in, quick strokes that flash dull, not yet glass. Stack the ware tight, jugs shoulder to shoulder, lids chocked with shard. Heave-ho, wood in, split oak, dry as bone. Draft open. Door bricked and daubed, a city block still asleep. First smoke sneaks from the spy hole, thin at first, then dark. A cough in the alley, a bell from the hall. The insurance man clicks his pencil, walks the brick run, eyes the stack. Knock at the gate. Inspector, ledger open, finger on the line. Good, keep the fire steady, don't spike it. This kiln works like a wood stove the size of a wagon. Necessary heat, a deep, even pull. Only now it sits 3 strides from a bedroom window. The glow that bakes stoneware also warms, drapes through thin panes. The alley becomes a flue of its own. Early shops set their kilns by the markets and the wharves. Short haul to sell, short haul to load clay. That cut the cart trips, but it packed smoke and heat where people ate, slept, and kept their wash. You at the other end, feed just a little. Keep the draft clean, salt charge ready, we throw late. The grains slap the port and vanish, a hiss like seawater on iron. The chimney lifts the vapor skyward, then slides it back down into laundry lines and porch rails. Salt glazing at high heat pushes chlorine-bearing fumes. You feel it at the back of the throat. Fire risk climbs with cordwood stacked high and sheds dried to tinder. The insurance man knows it. Rates follow placement and stack build. More risk, more coin. Complaints pile, notes pinned to doors. Council seats fill with neighbours. How high must a chimney run to cast smoke past the roof ridge? Raise it, they say. Lift the wash from harm. Potters count courses, count costs. So the fight lands on stack height. The 1817 push starts here. Raise the chimney or stop the fire. Up with brick or down with the flame. Okay, then come here. We follow the smoke into the rules that tried to hold the kilns still while the street pressed in. What began as a height fix turned into a lever the whole city could pull. Add brick to the stack, they said, and the smoke clears the eaves. Simple. Set scaffolds, run a string strike, lay courses true. Done, other side, but the moment we lift the crown, everything else shifts with it. Insurers step in first. Taller stacks read, as wind, risk, and ember throw. The ledgermen note where the kiln sits, what the stack is made of, how it's tied. Premiums follow that map, not our skill at the wheel. Neighbours press the same point from a different door. If the neck is taller, the fire beneath must be stronger. Bigger flame, longer burns, more fuel stacked under dry rafters. Council sits between the two and counts votes and hazards. Think of a bellows. Lengthen the neck, and the draw tightens. The kiln breathes harder. The firebox pulls like a chest at a run. Temperatures climb. Fuel piles shrink faster. You at the wood pile. Feed just a little. Don't choke it. Increased draft can push the heat we aim for, but it also eats time and coin. A hotter, longer pull means more cords in, more ash out, and a louder complaint from the alley. So the hats start to show up. Cupulus and caps, sheet metal crowns that swivel like a weather vane, try to throw the plumes sideways, then up. Tinkerers fit dampers, spark screens, collars. Mid-century rules test each fix, then write a permit around it. Inspect, stamp, rate. If you want the flame, you take the conditions. Heave, ho, raise, test, pay. Each ordinance adds another ring to the city. Kilns that once stood a short haul from the stall get nudged outward. Distance grows, rent climbs, carting clay in and finished where back out eats a day. The extra brick on the stack becomes extra miles under the wheel. Keep up the pace, turn it slowly. So the first big clash in 1817 is not a ban. It is a stack raised high enough to lift smoke and costs past the roofline. Workshops don't die, they drift to the margins where the money can tolerate the heat. So now it has to go down here, into the environmental ledger we've been avoiding. Smoke in the throat, fire on the wind, and what the body pays for every burn. Neighbours turned from tolerant to fierce because the kiln's work spilled into their lungs and onto their porches. Long burns pushed through the night. When wood ran lean, coal took over. Salt charges flew late to seal a glassy skin. Good, hold heat. Shut the stoke door, wait for the pull. Then the bite. Chlorine-laced fumes sting the back of the mouth. You taste it and blink hard. Charcoal sparks ride the column. Lift, then drift down. Soot lays a skin on shutters. Ash dots the wash on a line you hung an hour ago. Up, cover the fuel, don't feed wide. A street works like a throat. Narrow, poor at clearing. And every house acts like a lung, taking in what the kiln exhales. One firing fills the block. 2 in a week load it heavier. Workers catch more than a whiff. Silica dust hangs in the shop when we wedge and trim, and that dust digs into lungs over years. Earthenware men using lead glaze face a slow poison of their own, a hazard named plain in period notes. None of this stays inside 4 walls when the doors open and the draft pulls. The inspector comes with a coil of string. He snaps a string strike across rooflines, checks stack height against ridges, notes the gap to the shed, and writes down how much fuel sits in reach. Done. Other side. He measures, then points to the ledger. By 1871, the Fire Office holds clear powers to inspect and enforce. Nuisance rules already sit on the books from earlier years, backing removals and limits to protect health. So now it has to go down here: site, fuel, hours, and build. Those rules push an arithmetic we can't dodge. Taller stack means more brick and more draft. More draft means more fuel. More fuel needs a bigger yard. A bigger yard costs more rent. In a tight grid of houses, the safe clearances alone can price a shop off the block. Real estate, not clay or hand skill, picks winners. Costs rise in layers you can feel in your wrists. Rent jumps because safe clearances eat yard space. Transport bites twice, raw in, finished out. Compliance sits on top like a loaded lid. China sellers want one price across the counter. Wholesalers want pallet counts, not pairs. Rivals put iron to the job, cranks, jiggers, and regular molds, so they turn more in a shift than a hand can pull from a wheel. The kiln turns into a wagon wheel that won't run true. Every spoke, regulation, rent, fuel, distance, pushes the rim out of round until it wobbles. You at the hub tighten just a little. It still drifts under load. Urban closeness once paid. Stalls by the market, slips to the wharf, a fast haul onto a deck for the south or west. As rules shove kilns off centre, that edge dulls. So producers pivot. Flower pots stack light and sell quick. Pipelines out by the yard. Chemical vessels fetch steadier orders, less fuss over cobalt or sgraffito. Maker's marks change like shop signs. Same hand on the clay, new address on the stamp, and the ware shifts to match the buyer at the other end. Late in the century, the pull of machinery grows. Jiggering reshapes the pace, fast rounds, uniform lip, no pause for a wobbly rim. Bristol glaze cuts different risks and demands hotter, tighter burns. Glass bottles and canning steal the jug trade. Labour follows the whistle. Steady pay, new hazards, different foreman. Heave-ho, learn a new station or take the wheel farther out. So the craft doesn't fade, it is rooted. The map forces it, ordinances, clearances, land prices, until the old shops choose special lines or move on. Traditional stoneware in this city loses frontage first, then footing, then the block. So watch a master at heat today and read the unseen lines around the fire. Zoning pins the site. Insurance rates the stack. Air rules time the stokes. Knock, shovel, wait, heave, ho, work inside the frame.
Time to call it a day.